All right, welcome everyone to the 2024 NBA Draft. We're going to be updating everything live here, and I think the draft actually just started here. We got the Atlanta Hawks drafting Zachary Richicher, number one overall. I know I butchered that name, but it's going to be a really fun NBA draft. We're going to talk about all the picks. We're going to break them down. If you're new around here, mainly a Lakers channel, but we're going to talk everything about the NBA, update, break down all the picks, keep everything updated live. If you're new around here again, not a usual face cam, but take it all in. We'll move past that, talk about the NBA, talk about some ball here. And number one pick again is in. The Hawks did draft Richicher. That's going to be a really good long-term pick for them. Combo forward, 19 only, about 6'8.5", 9 here. Good wingspan. Could be a good two-way player for a long time, honestly. And, kind of surprising they didn't go with Alex Sarr here. He kind of pushed away from them, according to reports. He, for whatever reason, wanted to go to Washington over Atlanta. But I guess we'll watch how it works out for them. I like the pick, though. I think Atlanta is going to go into a full-blown fire sale. And if they offload pretty much everybody other than Jalen Johnson, which it sounds like they might, they're going to have a need for 1, 2, even 3 ball handlers, and that's what he can do for them. And in that case, I kind of like it from a potential standpoint over them taking Sarr at number 1 overall. Again, we'll watch how it plays out for them, but hey, not a bad pick at all. Yeah, I like it. For the Lakers pick, again, currently 17th overall pick right now yet. Anything could be on the board for them if you're really waiting for that. Might be a guy like Zach Edey. Might be a guy like Khalil Ware I'm hoping for. Could be a guard like Devin Carter. Who knows, man. We'll watch how it plays out. I'm really curious to watch if they'll trade up or down, though. I feel like they're probably going to stay where they are, but I would kind of like it if they move back. We talked a little bit lately during the videos about maybe if they trade with a Utah for pick number 29, 32, or maybe they trade with a Milwaukee for pick number 23, 33. I think I have the picks right there. But they could do a lot with that draft pick. I mean, they could even outright trade out of the draft for established role player, maybe a young player that they like from a different team. Maybe it's with a team like Atlanta, Brooklyn, Chicago, who are going to have a full-blown fire sale. We'll find out. What do you guys think, though? How do you feel about number 1 overall pick from Atlanta, who they took, and then who you would like to see the Lakers take, or who you think that they might take? We'll talk a lot about that throughout the night. Frable edits. Hopefully I pronounced that right. In my opinion, is there any chance Lakers make a trade tonight? Personally, I'd rather use the 17th overall pick and use 2 seconds, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Hayes for Nick Richards. I think that'd be an interesting way to go about it. I don't know if the salary would work if you're talking about before the new CBA kicks in or after, which would be on July 1st. Beforehand, that would definitely work because they would combine for about 5.5-ish million. That would definitely work. I like Nick Richards. If you watch my ideal offseason video, I did make a trade for him in there with a combination, I think, of Hayes and Wood. I think he'd be an upgrade over who they currently have at backup 5 right now. I like that pick. I don't know if I'd use the 17th overall pick if that's what you're saying in that trade, but yeah, I would definitely be willing to give up a second or 2 for Richards. Okay, absolutely no surprise at all here. Washington went with Alex Sarr. Oh, my bad. I need to move that up here in the chat. Everything should update through the tweet deck here with either Shams or Woj. I don't know why the Woj one isn't updating, but Shams has confirmed that Washington is taking Alex Sarr at number 2 overall. And I really like that pick. If neither him nor Reitziger are really NBA ready right now, probably. But I think Saar kind of just being able to fill that, pick and roll lob threat, occasional pick and pop. We'll see how that shooting develops for him, but should be a great defender from day one. I think he'll probably be the more safe pick to provide value from day one, but yeah, I like the pick for them. I like the pick for both of them, honestly. I think we kind of all seen it coming though. Number one, either between Saar and Reitziger, 1-2 overall. After here though, we have no idea who might get taken. Donovan Clingan might come into the top 5. He might fall all the way to 7th. I doubt any further than that. But it could be anything. You got a guy like Ron Holland, who I talked about in a video recently. He could be taken top 8, but then again, he could fall all the way to the bottom 20. Who knows? It's going to be a really interesting night. Did I watch LeBron growing up? I did. Yes, I think we all watched LeBron growing up. Been around for about 22 years now. NBA icon for sure. Few more comments here. Am I going to do more streams? If I like this one tonight, but I plan on doing free agency for sure. I kind of like the video format more than the live, but we'll try it out. We'll see how it goes. Fravel edits again. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name. No, I meant use the 17th pick on BPA, then get Richards. Why trade for Murray when you can have multiple picks for more depth? If you watch my videos, you know me. Definitely a fan of the depth route. I prefer that, especially with the new CBA kicking in, way more over the 3-4 star format. I don't think you can make a team work like that anymore. But yeah, definitely agree with you there. If you're saying why trade for Murray when you can have multiple picks, I don't know, man. I really like the fit of DeJounte Murray on this team. Great shot creator for himself. He can actually attack the rim, get them rim penetration, which they really don't have right now. They haven't had, outside of LeBron, a consistent second or third guy for that in quite some time. Great playmaker. JJ Redick has talked about wanting to use LeBron off the ball more. And we've heard that before, but if he actually goes about and does it correctly, DeJounte Murray with a combination of, of course, AD in the post, Austin Reeves, ball handling duties off the bench, I think they can make that work. And I like DeJounte Murray for an all-around fit with them. Can be a good defender when he wants to be. All around, I think pretty good fit. I look exactly like Jovan Buha, or am I bugging? Not related to Jovan, definitely not. Not a great three-point shooter. Not a great three-point shooter, DeJounte Murray, but above average at this point. If you're knocking down nearly 37% while taking nearly 8 of them per game, I think you're pretty good. Not great, but not too bad. All right, got another update from Shams. The Rockets are taking Reed Sheppard at number 3 overall. Guard from Kentucky, kind of got made fun of a little bit for having the equal wingspan to his height. People might think he might not be a good defender. Great shot creator, arguably the best shot creator and most efficient three-point shooter in the entire draft. I think that will be a great pick for them. Who knows, they might trade it if they're really intent on making a trade with Phoenix to try to get Kevin Durant. I don't think that'll happen, but maybe they'll package that draft pick. Houston, they want to win right now, but if they do end up keeping him, that'll be a really interesting combination with Jalen Green, given that they're both really offensively orientated. They like to create their own shot. They're not much of an off-ball player. Jalen Green took a step forward last year, but that'll be a really interesting fit. But all around, I think Reed Sheppard, at the bare minimum, he'll be like a Tyler Hero if he never develops that well on defense. But if he develops his all-around game on offense, I think he could be good secondary, tertiary playmaker with number 1, number 2 scoring option kind of potential. That could be a good one. Any player I'm hoping that falls to the Lakers. I mean, Khalil Ware, we've talked about a lot. I don't know if that would be falling to some people. I think it might be because lately he's kind of been projected to be around that top 12, top 15 area. So if he would fall to them, I think that would be a good pick. I think that would take a little bit of luck at this point. I know a lot of people been talking about Ron Holland lately. I talked about him in a video I made lately. I would like to see Ron Holland fall. A lot of people like Devin Carter. Big fan of Devin Carter too. I don't think he'll fall to them. I would like to see it happen, but probably my top two, like fairly realistic that if they would fall to them, I hope they would take them, would have to be Khalil Ware or, again, Khalil Ware or Ron Holland. Another pick in. Nope, not quite. What do you guys think? Who are you hoping to fall to that 15 to 20 area for the Lakers? Maybe to think about taking, or, you know, have the option. Maybe if they're keyed in a little bit too heavily on somebody. That's kind of how I thought they were last year with Jalen Hood-Schifino. I think they were locked in on him a bit too much. Like, they liked him. They scouted him for a long time. And they're like, I'm taking him no matter what. But they kind of overlooked a guy like Cam Whitmore falling. And, you know, maybe that could happen again with Ron Holland. Who knows? San Antonio at 4th. I'm really curious who they're going to take. I've seen them be mocked to all different kinds of players. Some people think they might reach on Devin Carter. Some people might think they go the big route to pair with Wembanyama with a Klingon. I'm not really sure. Who do I want at 17th? Again, probably would have to go the Khalil Ware route if Ron Holland or Devin Carter don't fall. That would probably be my top three, but probably a big, because, I mean, I don't want them to spend more than a minimum in free agency on a big. So in that regard, I would probably rather have them draft one rather than, you know, use the mid-level or try to find good value for a minimum contract again. They haven't had great luck with that. I don't think Christian Wood or Hayes were bad last year, but they weren't quite up to par for what we were hoping they would bring. And, you know, maybe with a draft pick at 17th overall in that mid to late first round range, if they would maybe trade back, they could get a little bit better value. Who knows? Do I like the NFL? I am an NFL fan. I don't know if you can see behind me. I do got a Packer helmet there. I do happen to be a Green Bay Packer fan. Me and Anthony Davis can relate that way. They're finally on the come up, but we'll talk more about that a different time. A little more on the Reed Shepherd pick. I think that's a good pick for Houston. If they would keep him around, I think that'd be an interesting option for him to come off the... They'd pair too much with Jalen Green in the starting lineup. Hopefully we're not disconnected. Yeah. That'd be interesting. I don't think we're disconnected. I think we're good, right? We should be good. Let me know if the stream is buffering or anything. Seems okay right now, but going through a few ups and downs trying to make the whole thing work. Not gonna lie, kind of weird seeing your face after watching all your videos throughout the past couple years. Yeah, went back and forth on wanting to do live streaming for a while. Thought, why not? We'll dive into it, but never something I was against. But I do prefer the long video format to where I can kind of narrate more than kind of do a live ranting, you know, whatever comes off the top of my head. I'm more of a structured person, so I kind of prefer more of a script with a lot of stuff written down to go off of. But with a NBA draft, free agency, you can't really do that. I don't know if TweetDeck is not updating right now. We got a little bit of a delay. What about Castleton working on his 3A? That'd be good. I think they'll keep him around on a two-way contract again. Probably not quite ready to fill a second, third center option in their role, in their rotation, that kind of role quite yet. Maybe he is. I mean, I'd like to see him play in Summer League, which I imagine he will be playing with them. So that'll be good to see. Hopefully they kind of give him that full primary role in Summer League, like 30 minutes every game. We can get a good look at him. Give him the green light to shoot too, I agree. If he's really been putting in the work on it, hey, let it fly, man. And another Castle. San Antonio is selecting Stephon Castle at number 4 overall. I like that pick for them too. I don't know the long-term future of everyone on their team. Obviously, no one does, but Wembanyama would be the guy they're for sure building around, and kind of get another playmaker for him to, I don't know if Trey Jones would be a long-term fit for them. Castle can kind of be that two-way playmaker for them. He can do a little bit of scoring, pretty good defender, and they're really creating a good two-way team all around. I mean, Wembanyama, defensive player of the year kind of potential. Castle, good defender. Ton of talent on that team, man. Not Lakers related, but do you think the Knicks tried to pry away Donovan Mitchell away with those 6 picks they gave up? Probably. I mean, they've had Donovan Mitchell on their radar for years now, from what we've heard. I kind of like the route that they took, though, with Mikal Bridges, making the Nova Knicks. I don't know if I would have gave up 4 unprotected first-round draft picks like they did, but I mean, either way, that's a good addition to their team. Donovan Mitchell would have been the more ball-heavy, ball-dominant route, where I don't know how that would have fit with Jalen Brunson. You got too much talent to probably pass it up, but I like the route they took with Bridges. I probably would have held out a little bit longer if they could, to try to get that down to 3 first-round picks and maybe protect a few of them. But I mean, without a doubt, Mikal Bridges is one of the top role players in the entire league, and with him not having to be a number 1 or number 2 scoring option anymore, he'll be a great wing defender for them again. They brought back Anunoby as well. That's going to be a tenacious wing defense on their team. What do we got? How do you guys feel about the new 2-day NBA draft format? I keep forgetting that we got half of it tonight. I think that's why they kind of delayed it so long too. We're going to be drafting probably until 9:30, 10 o'clock. Not a big fan of the 2-day draft format myself. I kind of like them running through it all the way, and now we're going to have a bunch more Bronny James drama unless he would get taken at the end of the first round, but you already know we're going to hear about it overnight. Not fit pick. Favorite NBA player at the moment? I would probably have to go with my boy Caruso. That's who I'm rocking right now. I don't know if you can see that, but man, I don't know. Ever since the Lakers picked him up on their Summer League team back in 2017, that great team they had, the defensive commitment. I'm a big Kobe fan, if you guys haven't found that out already. Big Kobe fan growing up, but after Kobe retired, didn't really have a de facto favorite player after that. Kind of went with role players. I'm a big Drew Holiday fan for a while now. Like I said, Caruso, like Reeves. I like hard workers, man. Anyone who really works hard on defense and kind of overcomes, maybe they went undrafted or they're a late second round pick and they didn't get to play for a year or two. I'm a fan of everyone that made it through that way. Stephon Castle. Actually, a little bit taller than I thought. About 6'5.5". I think he'll be a really good pick for them. Man, you know they're dragging out the NBA draft when Shams isn't even tweeting every 5 minutes. I remember in prior years, he'd be tweeting like every other minute. You could barely keep up with him. Like Aaron Gordon? Yeah, I feel that though. Don't like the Nuggets. Probably can't as a Laker fan, right? But, you know, for all the teams that have beaten my favorite team multiple times in the playoffs, I don't find the Nuggets that hard to root for. Jokic, not a dislikable guy. I mean, Jamal Murray, maybe a little bit, but not too terrible. Big KCP fan, obviously, even though he might not be with their team beyond this year anymore. Aaron Gordon, hard worker. Michael Porter Jr., they got some weird family stuff going on, but good player. Man, I wish we could have seen Reeves and Caruso together. Me too, man. Me too. That would have been the dream. Can't believe Shams doesn't have the whole entire draft figured out yet. Update. Yeah, we got a delay. What do you guys think? Have any hot takes for anyone going in the top 10 here? Getting a real reach. If anything, I think a big might go early. A little bit like how the Mavs took a big early and kind of made a domino effect after that. I wouldn't doubt if Khalil Ware went around that 10th to 12th range. Have I seen Pat Bev's tweet about D'Lo? If you're talking about the Golden State Warriors one, yeah, I did. I don't think that'll happen, but who knows? Cam, what do you think? What pick do you think Bronny will be? That might be the toughest prediction in the entire draft. He could be late first round with Phoenix if they would keep their pick. I kind of feel like they're bluffing on that. Or he could fall all the way down to 55th overall if the Lakers would keep that draft pick. He obviously won't go undrafted. I think he'll probably go in that 40 to 48 type range, whether it be the Lakers trading up for him a little bit or different team taking him. Small market team would love to have them ticket sales. We draft Edie and our fan base would throw a fit. I don't think. I feel like a lot of people actually really are a big fan of Zach Edey. I like him. I'm not, too huge on the traditional big man route. If he'll be a good defender, if that'll be able to translate. Obviously, he'll be a really good rebounder and offensive player, but a lot of things about his game that might not translate all that well. Rebounding will, but rim protection, shot blocking will be one thing. I mean, he's big, gigantic wingspan. I don't have any doubt about that. But apart from that, I don't know, the moving his feet on defense, that might be an issue. But we got number 5 in here for the NBA draft. Detroit is selecting Ron Holland at number 5. Well, there went that prediction. That's definitely a high upside pick for them. A little bit of a risk. People, if you watch my video lately, are talking about him kind of maybe being the Cam Whitmore of the 2024 draft, falling all the way down to 15 through 20, but that obviously didn't happen. They went the wing depth route with him, going to pair him with Cade, Azur Thompson. Interesting. I like the Holland pick. Worried about the three-point shooting for him, like we talked about in the video recently, but high upside on defense. I mean, he'll probably even be a pretty good defender from day one. If you only watch the highlights, really good passing lane guy, but he can be a good one-on-one defender if committed. 3-point shooting, again, bit of an issue. Great off-ball cutter. Great finisher around the rim. He'll have some highlight dunks for sure. Bronny equal Sharif O'Neal. I don't think it'll be that bad. I mean, Sharif had a lot to work with the heart condition and everything, but I mean, Bronny did too, working through it right now, but I think he'll have day one ability on defense, and as like kind of a 3-and-D guard, you know, probably won't get a lot of playing time in year number 1, but only 19 years old too, you got to remember. What do I think will happen with Klay Thompson? I don't know, man. It's looking like he'll probably leave Golden State right now. If you're talking about him joining the Lakers, I don't think that'll happen, but or I would probably bet Orlando. They're going to offer him a lot of money. Definitely a lot more than Golden State. Maybe a mystery team might swoop in, whether it be a Philadelphia or a different team that might open up a little bit of cap room. But, I mean, even now at 34 and off, you know, multiple injuries with Klay, that knee, the Achilles, he can be a good 4th, 5th option yet. People are making fun of him, you know, 0 for 11 in an elimination game, but if you put him in the right role, he can be valuable yet. My least favorite team, probably only Boston, but even they don't have a dislikable team right now either. I mean, Tatum, a little bit cringy, but Drew Holiday, one of my favorite players in the entire league. Derek White, one of my favorite players in the entire league. I like him. According to Woj, Portland might be trying to trade up to get Donovan Clingan. Huh. We heard about them not going to let Donovan Clingan pass 7th overall, according to reports, but man, they really want him. I wonder how DeAndre Ayton feels right now. I can't imagine they try and pair those two together. Not in the year 2024. Yeah, we do got a trade. Potentially. A little bit more on the OG Anunoby coming back to New York. I'm wondering what that will make them do with their draft picks if, you know, given that they don't have much room left under the luxury tax apron. Will they want to fill out their team with lower salary draft pick guys, or will they want to trade them to really fill out their entire team with vets? I mean, you know, Tom Thibodeau, not a big fan of the rookies and young player route. Took him how long to play Deuce McBride, not to mention countless other young players over the years. Charlotte trade back from 6 to 9. Unless we're not updating, not according to Woj or Shams. How did I come up with my channel name? Kind of basic, not really anything cool behind it, but they are the initials to my name. I'll give you that much. Not that creative, but you can come up with whatever you want. Oh, okay. Ron Holland became the 3rd youngest G League Ignite player ever drafted. Okay, right after Jalen Green and Scoot Henderson. According to Jake Fisher. Okay. Wonder who they're going to take then. Back to 9. I heard about them maybe wanting to trade Mark Williams. So I don't know really why they do that. But unless it would be for Clingan, which it obviously probably won't be. But Memphis wants Clingan. I think that'd be a good fit for them. They definitely want to replace Steven Adams, and they have a really good traditional big man fit for their team, given that Jaren Jackson, he can shoot from 3, can space the entire floor, can attack off the dribble. They can afford to have a traditional big on their team. Not many teams really can, and not only on their team, but actually in their starting lineup. That'd be a good fit for Memphis. That'd be a really good fit for them, actually. I'm really curious how Klingon, if he'll develop kind of beyond the Rudy Gobert comparison, to where we know he'll be a great rim protector, but if he'll be actually be able to be light on his feet and switch 3 through 5 at least, if he could do that, that would put him right into that defensive player of the year kind of potential. But that'll be interesting to watch play out. He wasn't quite at that level back at UConn. Great defender, obviously, great rim protector, but back at college, no defensive 3 seconds. You can camp in the paint for pretty much as long as you want to. NBA can't do that though. Would I include Reeves in a trade for DeJounte? If it came down to it and the right trade, I think I probably would, but I'm not quite, on the untouchable kind of thing like the Lakers are with him. I wouldn't put him in that category, but I definitely don't want to trade him. I know a lot of people have kind of turned on him a little bit lately, but it all comes down to contract value with me, and you're not going to find a much more valuable player given their contract than Austin Reeves, only making $13 million per year until 2025, 20 even further than that. You're not going to find many players who can provide the value that he can. But yeah, I do like DeJounte Murray. I'd be willing to give up probably 2 first-round picks for him, and then combination of whether it be D'Angelo Russell if he opted in, Reeves, and then you'd have to combine either Gabe Vincent or have to have a wacky combination of Hood Schifino and a minimum contract or 2. If you do it before July 1st anyway. After July 1st, you'd have to match about $25 million in a trade, and that would have to be Reeves and Vincent or Reeves and Hachimura to make the money work. Did I miss an update? Oh, got it on my phone before. Oh, here we go. Charlotte is selecting, I can never pronounce this guy's name, Tijane Saloon at number 6 overall in the NBA draft. Interesting pick. I like it. Kind of a versatile combo forward. Not quite a big, but unless the comment was right about them trading back, I don't know who would be at number 6 then, but if they do keep that pick and they keep Saloon, I think that'd be a good fit for them. I don't think they'll have a long-term future with Bridges. I think he is a free agent, if I remember correctly. They'll probably let him walk. And if they'd kind of be replacing him with Bridges, or Bridges with him, I think that would be the right move for them. I mean, LaMelo, given that he stays healthy, number 1 option. Mark Williams coming back. Brandon Miller obviously if you take away the first 2-3 months of the NBA calendar year, Brandon Miller might have been the rookie of the year. I mean, Wembanyama is obviously that great, but yeah. Klingon probably going to Portland. Yeah. I think it's pretty much a guarantee that they take him. You could probably lock that one in right now. Woj talking about another team working to move up and secure Donovan Klingon. Well, that was a little while ago, actually. Yeah, I can't imagine Klingon will fall past 7. Do I think the Lakers draft Bronny? Probably. I hope they don't trade up for him, or at least not any higher than 45th overall in that range. I'd be a little irritated if they did anything more than that. But if he fell to them at 55th overall, I'd be fine with that. I think pretty safe floor at 55th overall. There's not really any long-term health issues with him that we know of. And, the ceiling might not be that high for him. I think at the absolute most, it would be like a Drew Holiday light kind of comparison. I think more accurate would be like Davion Mitchell, but a little bit better than that. But even then, that's about an 8th, 9th guy on your bench. And if he could become that by about age 22, 2-3 years from now, I think that'd be great value at 55th overall. I mean, I think we forget a lot that not many players who get drafted past 40th are in the NBA for much longer than even 2 to 3 years. So at that point, I think it'd be a pretty good pick. Proposed trade from a forum. Lakers get Butler, Thomas Bryant. Oh man, we're going to get wacky with the money. Lakers would get Reeves, Rui, Vando, Hochefino, 20. Oh, my bad. Miami would get that. 29 and 31 first round pick. I'd need to have that in front of me to know if the money would work, if we'd have to do that before or after July 1st. But I don't know. I don't think Miami will give him a new max level contract, but I'm not sure they trade him either. I wouldn't doubt they go one more year with Jimmy, and I mean, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, Miami, they had a pretty good team yet. I don't know if they would have beat Boston again. I really doubt, but with a healthy Terry Rozier, healthy Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo obviously was healthy, but a healthy team, I think they could have gave them a run for their money, and if they wouldn't have ran into them, they could have made it back to the conference finals again. Gary Payton the second for Bronny. Yeah, I like that comparison too. Definitely athletically too. Bronny really shocked me how good of a vertical leap he recorded. I think at like 38.5 inches for a max vertical leap. And that's pretty good. I think he might have cracked the top 10 in the entire draft combine with that. Yeah, I like the Gary Payton the second. And they both got a pretty big wingspan too. If Portland would draft Klingon, what do I think they do with Ayton and the other big? I think they would probably trade Ayton. I can't imagine they would be able to pair Klingon and Ayton together. And with DeAndre Ayton's attitude, I can't imagine he would want that either. And he would definitely not want to come off the bench. And you're not going to bring a max level contract guy off the bench at 25 years old. I think they'd probably trade him. I would trade him. And then, I mean, they'll probably trade Robert Williams then too. Maybe they'll keep him, I guess, if they would trade Ayton. But I think they find a way to get Klingon in their starting lineup for sure. And I don't think that would work with Ayton. Not nearly enough three-point shooting, not nearly enough switchability on defense there. I mean, you pair them with Simons, Scoot Henderson. If they'll probably both be in the lineup. Shaden Sharp probably got to come off the bench then. Yeah, it wouldn't work. Okay. Do we not got an update again yet? They're taking their time here. What would be my take on what is my take on Mikal Bridges going to the Nova Knicks? It came out to 4 unprotected picks. Unprotected pick swap, 1 second round pick. So I think you're right with the total there. I liked it. I mean, that's a lot to give up. I love the fit. Him and OG Anunoby are going to give teams hell on the wing. I would definitely not want to be in that Eastern Conference going forward, but I mean, like as a number 8 or 7 seed playing them in round 1, having to match up with Jalen Brunson, then having Bridges and Anunoby defend you on the wing, yeah, that'd be tough. I like the fit a lot. Obviously, they got chemistry going back over half a decade now, so I mean, it'll work for sure. Only thing you got to worry about is Thibodeau running them into the ground. I can only imagine Hart, OG Anunoby, Bridges, and Brunson getting 48-minute nights every other game. Yeah, Portland, they're definitely going to take Klingon at 7. I would be shocked if it didn't happen. I'm just waiting for the update at this point. Oh, there we go. Portland is selecting Donovan Klingon at 7th overall. I like the fit. Again, I think they'll probably have to trade Ayton now. I don't know why they would draft Klingon to bring him off the bench or to try to make that awkward fitting front court work. So, yeah, I see DeAndre Ayton probably getting traded. I like the long-term outlook of Klingon, though, too. I mean, there might not be a ton of upside there on offense. I mean, probably a better scorer than we give him credit for. I think he averaged well over about 15 to 18 a game back in college, and that was by no means as the number one option. I might be thinking of the per 36-minute average, but yeah, I mean, great defensive potential there. He'll be a great defender from day one in the NBA. I mean, people kind of compare him to that Rudy Gobert kind of archetype on defense where playing drop coverage, he can recover a little bit, but contest everything around the rim. He should be able to do that. Maybe not to that Rudy Gobert level. We tend to give him a lot of crap. I kind of do too, but I mean, ultimately, he is the guy that can man a number one overall defense, and if Klingon can be that one day, that'd be a great turnout for him. Most likely, Hartenstein won't be back. Probably not, no. If they would come out with the money to get, I mean, they already brought back OG Anunoby. If they would come up with enough money to bring him back as well, I mean, more power to them, but that would mean Hartenstein having to take a pretty big discount. I can't imagine he'll do that. Klingon. I'm pretty curious on what Portland will do with the rest of their team. I know Malcolm Brogdon got traded earlier for Denny Advia. Can probably actually find that down here. Yeah, Washington traded Denny Advia to Portland for Malcolm Brogdon in the 14th pick tonight. Would have forgotten about that. And a 2029 pick. And Portland sending the second most favorable, their 2029 first round picks and 2 second round picks in the deal for Advia. Yeah, I definitely forgot about Advia going to Portland. If they make a lineup out of Scoot Henderson, Advia, Klingon, Anthony Simons, if they would keep him. I don't know if they'll have to choose between him and Shaden Sharp, but they kind of got a little bit of a crowded backcourt. San Antonio back at 8th overall here. They got their point guard, combo guard, and Stephon Castle before. Wouldn't doubt if they kind of go the bigger forward or probably not a center here. I don't know who they would take at this point. I don't know if they'd want to pair a Khalil Ware with a Victor Wembanyama. I think that would be a little bit of overkill, but who knows what they might do. If Hartenstein is looking for 16 plus million, what team would fit him? Haven't really thought about it too much, but it'd have to be a team with cap room to pay him that amount. And Orlando, I mean, they got Wendell Carter Jr. if they'd want to trade him and replace him with Hartenstein, maybe. Detroit, they'll have a lot of cap room. They waived Wiseman, but they got Jalen Duren. Yeah, I don't really know who a great fit off the top of my head for Hartenstein would probably be. I mean, I'd love to say the Lakers, but they don't got that kind of money, and Hartenstein won't be taking no 5.2 million. I wouldn't doubt if he got even around 20 million with how valuable he became even come playoff time. If you can get a legit center nowadays in the modern NBA that can not be a liability in the late fourth quarter come postseason, you got to pay them. Not like a max level contract. I'm not really in favor of that, if ever, very rarely. But you got to keep a good switchable big man around. And Hartenstein definitely can be that. Want to say love the background music. I should have put the background music on the live here. Don't ever change it. I've changed it actually a few times, but I usually keep the same one for about a year, then go to a different one. But I'm still rocking with the same one right now. I think we're coming up on about a year that I changed it. So I don't want to make any promises, but it should be here for a little bit while longer. Man, we are moving slow here at the NBA draft. Pick not yet in for San Antonio. There we go. San Antonio is selecting Rob Dillingham at number 8. He could be on the move to Minnesota though. Interesting. I don't. Timberwolves, I think, have what, the 24th overall draft pick. I wonder if they wouldn't be trading 24, what they would be trading on their team. I mean, San Antonio, they had Kyle Anderson back in the day. I don't know if they'd want a reunion. Definitely not for number 8 overall, but yeah, we do have a potential trade here, though. I like the Rob Dillingham fit for them if they keep it, though. Good shot creator, can score at all 3 levels. I'm kind of thinking more about Minnesota, though. I think that'd be a better fit for them. They kind of ran out of shot creation after Anthony Edwards couldn't do anything in the conference finals. If anything, they needed a more reliable shot creator off the bench. Alexander Walker couldn't quite be that for them. I'd really like that, actually, if Minnesota would make that trade. I mean, he probably wouldn't be able to do it in year number 1. Who knows? Maybe he would. But down the line, and Anthony Edwards isn't going anywhere for a long time. What do you guys think about the draft so far? Top 8. To me, I think the most surprising pick would probably be Ron Holland at 5th. And Woj did confirm apparently that they are keeping the pick for Ron Holland. I didn't see that one coming, but then again, I wouldn't have been that shocked about him falling to 18th, 17th overall either. He could have been taken anywhere. Okay, confirmed. Minnesota has traded for the 8th pick in Rob Dillingham. I'm curious what they're actually trading, though. My prediction will be that Pop wants Kyle Anderson back. I wonder if they'd have to trade Alexander Walker. That could be an interesting combination. Huh. Would I do Walker Kessler and Lowry Markkanen? No trade, no top 4 protections on Russ first, 17, Rui, and Jalen Hood-Schifino. I think anything with Lowry Markkanen, you're only going to be trading for him. From all the reports we've heard, it might take up to 4 first-round draft picks. And after a trade like what New York made for Mikal Bridges, that kind of resets the whole trade market. And if they're going to get 4 first-round picks for Mikal, Utah would be like, hey, I want 4 or 5 of them for Lowry Markkanen. And they could actually say that too, and a team would have to up their price to meet that demand. I mean, obviously he is on a expiring contract. That can make it a little bit lower on the traded picks, but I still think they're going to ask for 3 or 4 unprotected first-round picks for Lowry Markkanen. So I don't think you could even put Walker Kessler in there. But if they want to trade Walker Kessler aside from Lowry Markkanen, I would have interest in it, like I talked about earlier this week, but I don't think you could really pair him in a lineup with Anthony Davis and LeBron. Oh, wow. Zach Edey going number 9 overall. Memphis, okay. I should not be that shocked about that, given that they wanted a big man for sure. But I did not really see them going with Edie. If anything, I thought they'd trade up for Klingon, and if not, I thought they'd trade back. But keeping the pick at number 9th overall and taking Zach Edie. Interesting. Huh. I think it'll work with Jaren Jackson kind of being that rim protector for them anyway. He'll kind of be able to help ease Edie into the NBA defensive style of play. But that's interesting. I did not think he'd go number 9 overall. Top 10 pick. Who said traditional big man can't go top 10 overall? We got 2 of them now, Klingon and Edie. I mean, maybe Edie will develop a 3-point shot eventually, but not right now. Okay, the Timberwolves traded 2031 unprotected first rounder and a 2030 pick swap, top 1 protected, to San Antonio for Rob Dillingham. Interesting. Okay, they really wanted him then. Top 1 protected pick swap. I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life, but they traded an unprotected 2031 first round pick. I mean, they're banking on Anthony Edwards being their franchise guy in 2031 yet, but I mean, I imagine that will be the case, but they definitely wanted Rob Dillingham. I like that long-term fit for them again. I don't know if I agree with an unprotected first and a pick swap. I would have maybe tried to offload a little bit of salary there if San Antonio wanted Kyle Anderson or anything, but yeah, I like that pick. You're one of the OG posters from Club Laker. No, I am not. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but appreciate you watching. Yep, gonna keep grinding for sure, man. Appreciate you watching the content. Crazy. If you're referring to that trade, I agree. Or maybe Edie at number 9 overall. Well, that takes down a lot of Laker fans' preferred pick at 17th. With Edie falling at number 9, that might even make a domino effect for big men. I know Chicago, they're thinking about taking Khalil Ware at their draft pick. I don't know if Ibi Misi might go a little bit higher now. I think they've kind of been projected to go Khalil Ware at about top 14, 15 lately, and then Misi not really going past 18. I don't know if Deron Holmes would sneak in there. If I remember correctly, he did get a green room invite. So who knows? Maybe he could go top 15 too. That's one of my favorite picks. Don't understand it for San Antonio. I kind of do. I mean, even if you're not talking about them taking Rob Dillingham, they already kind of got their guy in Castle at 5th overall or 4th overall. I might be wrong, but I don't know. You put too much young talent on one team, it can take forever to get out of. They already feel like they can probably compete a little bit with Wembanyama entering year number 2 and year number 3, and being a arguably top 20, 25 player already. So if anything, again, I probably would have tried to get a veteran out of that, but they got a ton of cap room. They'll be able to sign their own veteran in free agency if they want to, whether that be a big to pair with Wembanyama or a little bit more wing depth if they would move on from some of their current guys. But yeah, welcome back, everyone. Yep, I should have began that with the stream. No updates. Well, we're into 10th and beyond territory, and Utah is picking Cody Williams at 10th. Love that pick. Haven't talked about him too much, but if I would have talked more about wings for the Lakers or whatever team it might be, Cody Williams definitely would have gotten a video from me. Great two-way potential. Really good already for a freshman. Great length. You could probably guard 1 through 3 maybe, 2 through 4 in that range. 1 through 4 eventually, but 2 through 4 from day one. And pretty good 3-point shooter. Great all-around potential in my opinion. Really good pick for Utah there. Not really sure what their long-term plans are, but he probably will start for them even if they don't move on from Lowry or Walker Kessler, they like to play pretty big. So I wouldn't doubt if they'd pair him in their lineup with a Kessler and Markkanen. I'm still kind of thinking about that Timberwolves trade. I did not see that one coming. How are we feeling about the draft so far, guys? Keep looking over at the ESPN draft and Stephen A. Smith talking. I don't think we're going to get any great draft knowledge from that. Kuzma gone? Probably. But they did trade Denny Advia, and that would open up a little more spot in their rotation for wings. They got Malcolm Brogdon. I wonder, they won't buy Malcolm Brogdon out, but they'll probably trade him again. If Kuzma will be gone, it will depend on who they take at 14th overall. And, I mean, I think they probably should trade him. I don't really know what Washington has been doing for the past half decade now, but they should have, and they should trade him for draft picks or a young player. We kind of forget Kuzma, I think, will be turning 29 in about half a year here. Weird to think about, but not really a fit for a long-term rebuild. Go Lake Show. Yeah, we're about 7 picks off, baby. Tenth. Okay. With Edie gone, should we shop the 17th overall pick? No, not in my opinion, not yet. I mean, I would have been in favor of moving back to begin with, but Edie was never my number 1 overall guy. I would have taken Khalil Ware over him for the Lakers in particular. I don't mind the Edie pick for Memphis. I think it makes sense with their team and what they've done with Steven Adams, and I think Edie can fill that role for them. But for 17th overall, no, I don't think that's hey, we got to move back now because we didn't get Zach Edey. That pick would have been okay for them, but I would have rather had Khalil Ware, Deron Holmes, maybe not Ibi Missy, but definitely Ware and Holmes over Edey for the Lakers in particular. Like I've been saying, if you hope to pair a big with Anthony Davis, you definitely got to have 3-point shooting and defensive versatility. Chicago is selecting Matas Bazilis at number 9 overall, the NBA draft. Okay, he fell a little bit further than some people thought. He's had kind of a wide draft range too, to where he could have went anywhere from about top 7 all the way down to about 14th. But Chicago taking him, kind of a, playmaking ability. Some people call him a little bit like a rich man's Goran Dragic, point forward a little bit kind of thing. I think that might signal them moving on from DeMar DeRozan, who will probably leave their team in free agency. And I mean, we all know they want to trade Zach LaVine too, so not entirely shocked about that pick. A lot of people think that thought that they were going to go with a big here, but maybe they liked Edey a lot. I imagine they're probably going to trade Vucevic too. Am I Canadian with the way I say about? No, I think I talk a little bit too quickly. Not Canadian. But number 9th overall again, Matas. I like that pick for them. I haven't watched too much tape on him, but the potential definitely is there. Really good point forward ability, potentially. Good playmaker. Not a bad defender either. I don't think he's got enough credit for it. I can't remember the exact height and wingspan for him, but he won't be a liability on defense. Why would they trade their pick? Because Edey is gone? I think you're disagreeing with him. I agree if you're disagreeing with that earlier comment. I don't think they should trade their pick only because Edie is off the board. Thoughts on Hartenstein? Can the Lakers get him? Love Hartenstein, but the Lakers cannot get him. Definitely not, unless he would be willing to take a $5.2 million contract, and that would be about 20% of what he can probably get. So, unfortunately not. Maybe if they would have picked him up about 2-3 years ago, they could have him yet, but nope, not anymore. Lakers need Khalil Ware or that guy from NC State, DJ Burns. They could probably pick him up undrafted. I think that'd be a really fun pickup for Summer League. That would be... he apparently dropped about 50 pounds. I'd like to see him, the way he moves now after that weight loss and bully guys down low during Summer League. He'll kind of be like the Memphis, Kenneth Lofton. Not on Memphis anymore, but he'll probably bully everyone, all the young guys in Summer League and probably in the G League too, because simply they're not built the same way at 19 as, or not 19, but DJ Burns, about 22, 23 at this point. But yeah, very few guys are built like him coming out of college. I think he'd be fun to pick up on Summer League team. But yeah, definitely Khalil Ware. I'm hoping he'll fall to them at 17th. That's kind of been my favorite pick for them for about the past month and a half. I've gone back and forth with Ron Holland, Devin Carter a little bit, but if they're taking a big and Khalil Ware is there, I would be a little bit both shocked and angry if they didn't take him. But yeah, some people do question his effort a little bit. I think that mainly came down to offense, where if he wasn't getting touches, he might not move off the ball that much. But I don't know, defensive commitment, I didn't see a whole lot of it from the tape with him. Freshman year at Oregon, yeah, a little bit, but he simply didn't like playing for their coach and they didn't want to play him that much. I'm not really too concerned about Ware with effort issues. If anything, it'll be, can he contribute from day one? We saw Derek Lively do it with Dallas in year number one, and a lot of people didn't think he would be. But can Khalil Ware kind of replicate that role, being good rebounder, lob threat, good rim protector, pretty good anyway? I think he can. I mean, they're both kind of built the same way. About 7 foot, 7'1", 7'5" wingspan, insanely athletic. I'd be willing to bet on it. I'd be a little bit angry if they did not take him at 17th overall. Can't believe we're not at pick number 12 yet. That 2-day NBA draft format change, man. I'm telling you, we're going to be sitting here till 10:30 p.m. for the Lakers pick. Not really. Well, if they trade back, maybe. DJ Fat Burns. Hey, he dropped weight, man. Deron Holmes will be better. DJ Burns from my new home state. Okay, I'm not sure where he's from, but yeah, definitely Deron Holmes will be the better pick in round one. I mean, we never know how a career might turn out, but DJ Burns, unfortunately, might be about 15 years too late to the NBA. I mean, people compare him a little bit to a Zach Randolph. If anything, he kind of reminds me of an Eddie Curry. Hopefully he can keep off the weight, but yeah, it might be tough for him in the modern NBA, but I'm rooting for him to succeed. That would be a great story, going from a no-name all the way up until March Madness and then dropping off Duke and making it all the way to the Final Four. I really enjoyed watching him. He's tough to contain down low. If he had a larger wingspan, I think he'd probably get a little bit of late round interest. And I think he is only about 6'8", and you can get around the height thing with a good wingspan and a wide frame, but lacking foot speed, having a poor vertical, and lacking the height and length, probably not a great bet to have a long-term NBA career. UConn had a big season. Yeah, they did. That's why the Lakers wanted Dan Hurley. Hate to bring that up, but yeah, if they three-peat, though, more power to him. Hasn't been done in 50 years, I think, right? Watch the Lakers take Furphy. There have been a couple mocks that have had them taking Furphy. I haven't looked too much into him, but I wouldn't hate it. Wouldn't be my favorite. He'd probably be in that I wouldn't be angry, but I wouldn't love it kind of draft range pick. I don't know, man, but I probably don't see them doing that. If they would reach on any wing, I would probably like to see them reach on Ryan Dunn. I don't know if you guys know anything about him. Really super good defensive wing, can switch probably 1 through 4, maybe even 1 through 5 in a small ball lineup. Good 3-point shooter, and bigger wings in general out of Virginia have had pretty good luck lately. DeAndre Hunter, pretty good NBA career. Trey Murphy, Virginia, definitely. Yeah, he played for Virginia. Yeah, big wings. I don't know. Ryan Dunn might be able to carry that on. Low-key nervous for a pick. I am a little bit too. Hoping it's a good one. Yeah, they can't afford to miss if they keep the pick. They could, maybe afford to quote unquote miss if they move back, and that might be something they want to do. But if they keep their pick pretty much at any range in the first round, they got to hit. And especially after, I'm not on the Jalen Hood-Schifino hate train, but definitely a project player, and fans don't want to see that right now. We got a limited window with LeBron and Anthony Davis right now. Definitely LeBron for sure. Whether he'll come back on a 1-year deal, 2-year deal, 3-year deal, you never know, and the wheels might fall off. So Khalil, or that guy Sharp from Old Miss. Sharp from Old Miss. I don't know why I can't think of who you're talking about. Only 2 bigs, I think, or would take at 17. Sharp. Definitely a fan of Khalil Ware, though, I agree. We'll be talking plenty about him, I'm sure, for the next hour. Ooh, I feel... Are we not at 12 overall yet? Tweet deck, don't fail me. Here we go. Nikola Topic. Oklahoma City is selecting Nikola Topic at number 12 overall. Okay, so he didn't fall like many people thought he would. If you haven't heard about him, he did have to undergo knee surgery, or if he hasn't yet, he will. And I think that was the second ACL tear, or maybe this one might not have been the ACL, but definitely a second knee surgery for Nikola Topic. So a lot of people thought he'd fall all the way to about 15 to 20th, if not even a little bit further, but went at 12 overall here. And Oklahoma City taking him too. It's a little bit shocking. I mean, they definitely don't need anything more on their team really right now, but he could be that long-term project for them, kind of to fill the void of Josh Giddey. That kind of point forward type role. Only Topic would be willing to come off the bench, unlike Giddey. I like that for them. I don't know about you guys, but I would like to see Oklahoma City trade a few of their picks eventually. I don't know why they think they should keep all of them. They got $1 million and they're at a win now point. Yeah, that one's a little bit... again, not confusing, but I don't know why they're keeping their picks. If anything, I thought we'd get a notification of Oklahoma City trading their draft pick for a wing or a good bench, kind of veteran role player coming off the bench, whoever that might be. But yeah, Sam Presti is a madman. Topic, old-fashioned stash overseas player. I mean, that might not be a terrible option to let him both recover and play over in Europe for 1 more year. I think he played over, I can't remember what team he played for, but yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know if I'd be willing to take a stash guy at 12th overall, but hey, Oklahoma City, they got nothing but time, I guess. Yep, he did tore his ACL. I'm pretty sure about that too. Definitely has another knee surgery to add on at only 18 or 19. I don't know if he even turned 19 years old yet, and that's never a good thing coming into the NBA draft. I think he'll have a pretty good NBA career yet. I feel like the amount of European guys that are doing well year by year now, it's not even taking that big of a risk anymore. Like, you know, you're going to get a high IQ guy that probably will be a great playmaker if we're talking about a guy like Topic anyway. They understand the game. They come from, if anything, I feel like Europe ball nowadays translates better to the NBA in terms of offense anyway than college. They run more diverse offense over there compared to college, and I would be willing to die on that hill. I don't think it's even an argument at this point. That's why we got guys like Luka Doncic coming right into the NBA and averaging 20 points per game. Of course, you know, not every Euro player can do that, but more and more, it's happening. Probably looking to sell tickets for getting a title. Talking about Oklahoma City. Don't know if I agree with that. I don't know who you're talking about, though. It's actually insane how much quicker Shams and Woj post the draft picks before ESPN even has it updated. We're probably about T minus 1 hour, 45 minutes before the Lakers pick at 17th overall here. Took about well over an hour to get to 12th. Probably not an hour to get 17th, but should have the draft order pulled up actually. Wondering who Sacramento actually might take here at 13th overall. We've heard a lot of rumblings about them maybe trading that pick. They brought back Malik Monk, but that won't rule out a trade for them. Don't know if they'd go a wing guard. I know De'Aaron Fox, he apparently is not committed to re-signing long-term with their team, but I think they'll probably go like combo forward. Maybe not a big. I don't know if you can pair a legit big with Sabonis, but I think probably a combo forward-ish. Can never have enough two-way versatility. Talking about OKC with that. Wonder why I mean 1 day. Money. 2-day format. All about money. Especially with Bronny probably getting drafted on day 2. They knew that and they want to rake in all the money. ESPN will be talking tomorrow about what team will draft Bronny. Will he get drafted right away in the 32 to 35th overall range? Or yeah, all about money. I don't hate it, but I don't like waiting for the second round. Like, just go through it. It's like the final day of the NFL draft, 5 through 7th. Really not watching it. You're kind of just waiting for the updates at that point. 5 more. Yep, nearly there. Kings considering Levine. Reports about that, yeah. I don't know how much I believe it, though. I don't know what contract they'd trade back for him. You got a match of $42 million salary if you're getting Levine. Oh, okay. Sacramento took Devin Carter. Damn. 13th overall. Well, there goes one of my wish list guys for the purple and gold. Great two-way guard, combo guard. Can be a legitimate point guard if you put him in that role, but one of the peskiest point of attack defenders in the entire draft. Devin Carter, he'll be a good one for them. Got the notification late, but Fravel updates. Welcome to the channel. Appreciate that. Isn't it a gamble to take Bronny? Definitely a gamble, but depends on where you're taking him. If you're taking him in the top 40, definitely a gamble. But if you're taking him 45th to 50th overall, or even getting him undrafted, which I don't think will happen, but I don't think it would be a gamble to take him the second round after about 40th overall. Would laugh if Bronny got drafted at 34th. Yeah, I would too. I don't. 34th. I think that might be Utah. They have been. I think there is support about them maybe drafting him too. Wouldn't be entirely shocked. Kings had significant trade talk around number 13, but focus on Providence Devin Carter. Yeah, again, they were talking about trading it. I doubt they traded after. I feel like anytime you make your pick after about third overall, the guy you draft loses a little bit of value. Not entirely fair, but it's all about the pick because teams want to take who they want. They don't want to, not usually anyway, they don't want to trade for a guy after the draft is over. They don't value him quite the same way. But I wouldn't doubt if the Kings made another trade. Again, don't think it'll be for Levine, but Carter, good long-term piece to them. He'll come off the bench probably in year number 1 and 2, but that'd be a good long-term fit with De'Aaron Fox. I like that kind of two-way backcourt with Carter. Good three-point shooter too, both pretty good defenders. I mean, Fox doesn't focus too much on defense all the time anymore given the offensive burden that he has to take on, but yeah, Devin Carter, I like that. I think if anything, that might mean them moving on from Davion Mitchell, which, not a big deal by any means, but he might be a trade target to watch out for. Lakers should trade that pick. Yeah, I pretty much think it's confirmed that they won't be trading up anymore, but I wouldn't mind if they traded back. I don't know if you're talking about them trading for an actual player already out of the draft entirely, but I'm not entirely opposed to it, depending on who they get. Dream trade right now. My dream trade was for our boy Caruso, and that obviously didn't happen. Hurts, but DeJounte Murray would kind of be on that borderline dream trade. I think there's so much variable there with what they'd have to give up that it would maybe be a dream trade for me, and then it maybe wouldn't. But Lauri Markkanen, again, depending on what they'd have to give up, that could maybe be a dream trade. He and Anthony Davis, that would be a really fun pairing to watch on offense. And with JJ Redick, I can only imagine how he'd take advantage of a guy like Lauri Markkanen. He'll be able to take advantage of pretty much any three-point shooter, versatile offensive player in general. But Lauri Markkanen, that'd be a really fun pairing with AD. Anthony Carter's son. I did hear about that. I forgot about that, though. Devin Carter. Bronny needs to go to the Lakers and follow his dad. Yeah, probably been following his dad around apart from 1 year of college for 19 years now. Gotta learn from the best. Definitely has in some regards. I don't know if you've heard him talk, Bronny, but he sounds identical to a young LeBron. Kind of eerie, actually. I know the younger son, drawing a blank right now, got the height, but Bryce. But Bronny, he definitely got the identical voice and leaping ability. On the clock. We got a draft update yet? Nope. Yeah, prediction might be 9 o'clock for when we get to 17th overall. Every passing pick, though, I'm getting a little bit more excited for Khalil Ware. Okay, Washington. It's going to update here in a minute. They are taking Bub Carrington at number 14th overall. Interesting. Another guy that got talked about, maybe going a little bit higher within that 9th to 14th overall, 9th to 12th, if anything, range. But Bub Carrington, pretty good pick for them. Wing. Kind of a long-term. They should be drafting long-term anyway. Again, who knows what Washington might do with their future. If anything, I think that might signal them trading Kyle Kuzma a little bit more, which again I think they need to do. Ooh. And now I think it's pretty much guaranteed that they will. Now if a team picks Khalil Ware, then trade the pick, maybe. I'd push it all the way to at least 15th overall here, one more pick. And I don't know, at that point, maybe trade the pick back, depending on who they trade with. I'd only do it again, though, like I've been talking about lately, if they could get not only a later first round pick, but then an early second round pick too. I like guys around that range. I don't think Ryan Dunn will fall that far anymore, but that would be my dream for a late first round, early second round pick. Ryan Dunn out of Virginia, if you haven't heard of him yet. Really good two-way wing, great defensive upside. If not him, I like Cam Christie. Be a good early second round pick for them. Good two-way potential there. You know, kind of be funny to draft the Christie brothers, but would be a legitimate good second round pick in my opinion. Deron Holmes. I think Misi. Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about Misi maybe being their draft pick too. It didn't get reported early, but he apparently did work out for them. And he even made a comment to, I think, Jonathan Givney that they told him they're looking for a big that can sometimes play with Anthony Davis and then come off the bench and be their primary backup in that way. And if that turns out to be true, yeah, I think they could go with a Misi. I would prefer Khalil Ware in that role if they got to him. But Misi, I made a video on him if you watched that. Really high defensive upside, potentially like kind of like a Klingon to where they could have defensive player of the year kind of potential. But unlike Klingon, who's like a more physical rim protector that can kind of match, you know, a bigger body down low, Misi is that more switchable big, kind of like a Derek Lively, if you would compare him to him a little bit. More of a shot blocker, can switch on defense. And yeah. What about yeah, I forgot about him, Dalton Knecht. A lot of people are talking about him maybe going to either Sacramento or Oklahoma City, given that he'd be the more NBA ready pick compared to maybe not Devin Carter. Maybe, I guess, actually, but definitely compared to Nikola Topic. Looking back on that, I'm a little bit surprised they didn't go with Knecht. I think people are even talking about him getting hype at 9th overall, too. Blazers, yep, they did trade Malcolm Brogdon and picks to Washington. I don't know why that updated twice, but okay, Shams. Washington did in fact take Bub Carrington. We got 15th overall now. Nope. Are we glitching out or what? Shams get hacked. Yes, the second round of the NBA draft will be tomorrow. I think at the same time, I unfortunately won't be able to stream it, but they're definitely going to go through it a lot quicker than they do tonight. I think even the draft ticker is down a whole minute and a half less to make it go quicker, but money grab, I don't entirely blame them, but we'll have to wait for Bronny James to get drafted a whole nother day. Yeah, how you mentioned Malcolm Brogdon before. He'll definitely be on the move again. I don't think it'll be a buyout, but if the Lakers can't get DeJounte Murray, or any team for that fact that needs a good combo guard, I would take a hard look at Malcolm Brogdon. Entering the final year of his contract, doesn't have that much value between that and having a off and on injury history, but he definitely can contribute to winning. Everywhere he goes, people are very complimentary about him, both from a young player, helping with young players standpoint, a veteran leadership standpoint, and putting up good numbers yet too. Underrated playmaker. I think he actually had a higher assist to turnover ratio than D'Lo did, and D'Lo led the entire Laker team last year in assist to turnover ratio. So I think Brogdon would be a sneaky good trade target if they can't get a guy like DeJounte Murray, or if they don't pick somebody up or draft somebody, a guard anyway. I think that would be overkill at that point, but I've always been a Malcolm Brogdon fan. Like Holmes, me too. NBA ready for sure. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about with Holmes is if he has definitely a lower ceiling compared to a Ware or a Misi, definitely compared to a Ware or a Misi, even compared to wing players that they can maybe draft at that 17th overall range. Holmes, I think, is very NBA ready to where he can come in, he can switch on defense a little bit, playing that 4-5 spot on defense, be a good rim protector for you, and then knock down the occasional 3-point shot. Will he do it at a starter level? I'm not quite sure. He'll definitely be able to grow. I'm not saying that he's completely capped out on potential, but he might not be the upside pick that you kind of want in that top 20 draft range. If, not a lottery pick, but even if you're drafting anywhere lower than 25th overall, you want a guy with some upside for sure. And again, not that Holmes doesn't have it, but not as much compared to a Khalil Ware, in my opinion. Washington would be a good trading partner. Definitely. I think they would be. I think any team that is on that fire sale kind of route. But after Washington traded Advia and Gafford last year, they don't really have that much left. Jones will be a free agent for them at point guard. Obviously, Kyle Kuzma, he'll be tradable. Fairly good contract. They actually re-signed him. But other than that, I'm drawing a blank on if they have any other veterans. They bought out, waived DeLon Wright, who went to Miami. I think he'll be a free agent. That'll be a good pickup too. Who's left for the Lakers? You got Khalil Ware yet. You got Yabi Missy. If you're a Kyle Filipowski fan, if you're talking about big men, which I know a lot of Laker fans want them to take. I'm not a huge Kyle Filipowski fan, but I wouldn't hate it. I'd like it more if they moved back and took a guy like him with, again, kind of like a Holmes, a little bit lower ceiling, but can do a lot in year one. But if it would come down to Holmes or Filipowski, I'd definitely take Deron Holmes. Holmes' ceiling is poor man's Turner and basement. Ooh, I don't know about basement being Naz Reid. I don't think we even know how good Naz Reid can be yet. If he could get to current Naz Reid, I think that would be a great turnout for Deron Holmes, in my opinion. I can kind of see the Miles Turner. I don't know if I call him a poor man's, more like a short man's Miles Turner, given that he about 2 inches shorter, but I even think they have a similar shooting motion. They play fairly similar on offense where they both pick and pop, pick and roll, can be a lob threat here and there. But yeah, I can see that comparison. But I think if he would turn out to be anything like Naz Reid, which I think he kind of can be in some regard, that would be a really good turnout for him. Oh, and there went Khalil Ware at 15th overall. Pain. Not entirely shocked, but I did not see it coming from Miami. There was a report, might have been from Jake Fisher, that they were talking about wanting a big to pair with Bam Adebayo. So maybe I shouldn't be that shocked about it, but yeah, there went Khalil Ware. I know people are talking about maybe them taking Misi over. A lot of people that think that Khalil Ware would fall to 15th, with the talk about Chicago maybe taking him, or maybe a Portland if they couldn't get Klingon, which they got earlier. But yeah, no more Khalil Ware. Kind of a shocker that both Edey and Khalil Ware went before the Lakers pick. If you would have asked me to make a bet on that, I probably would have went with one of them being there. What was the average mock draft position for Ware? Well, about a month or two ago, it was about 20 to 25th overall, but after draft workouts in the combine, he went all the way up to anywhere from 11th to 20th, and he got taken right in the middle there at 15th. Dalton Knecht for the Lakers. That wouldn't be terrible, I guess. Kind of another guy that you don't even think about them drafting because theoretically he should have been taken by now, but wouldn't be a terrible idea. I mean, I haven't put much thought into it, but kind of a shooting guard, small forward combo. Not a terrible defender, not a great defender, unfortunately. You know, my thing with them is that they need to add more two-way players, and JJ Redick talked about that during his introduction too. And I don't know if Dalton Knecht would be really that fit in that regard. But then again, you got another Cam Whitmore situation to where, hey, you have a guy that maybe should have went top 12 overall. Do you take him now, or do you go with the guy that you've been looking at for a while? And that would be the argument for Knecht. Where's Bronny? Not getting drafted until the second round, if you ask me anyway. I know somebody put like a 6-figure bet on him going number 1 overall, but that didn't happen. Cleo Ware off the board. I still can't believe that. Actually, I can, but was hoping it wouldn't happen. No more Cleo Ware, no more Zach Edey. Who, if they would go with a big yet, who would you guys like to see them take? I would probably have to go with Deron Holmes if they stand pat at 17th, but at this point, like I talked about before, no Ron Holland, no Cleo Ware, no Devin Carter. I might talk to a team or two about trading back if we can get 24th overall with New York, 23rd overall with Milwaukee, and then pair that with a early second round pick. I would think about doing that. If I would be willing to bet, another guy will fall to that 23rd to 25th overall range, and you could take a guy there. I don't know if it would be Deron Holmes, but again, not a huge Kyle Filipowski fan, but that would be a better pick there. I keep forgetting about Tyler Smith. He'll probably go in that 23rd to 28th overall range. And if we trade back to that area, the Lakers, and drafted a Tyler Smith, that would be a good pick in my opinion. Are they really going to land Knecht? If they want to, they maybe can, but it's that argument about fit, or do you take the best player available? And that's a tough one for me because I'm a big fit person. But again, you watch a guy like Cam Whitmore go by last year. Do you do that again with Knecht? Obviously, they have way different style of play, different potential too. Of Cam Whitmore, one and done guy coming out of Villanova, compared to Knecht being a 4-year college player coming out of Tennessee. Big time difference, but you got an NBA ready player no matter what that fell to you when you didn't think it would happen. And at that point, you got to think about doing it. "15 minutes till 17th overall, maybe." Pretty sure I'm able to see all your comments, but yeah, probably Holmes or Misi if they don't move back. Curious to see who Philadelphia might take here. A lot of talk about them maybe trading their draft pick. A lot of talk about them trying to go after Paul George, and that probably won't happen anymore. I'd be really curious to find out if Harden talked to Paul George about not wanting to go to Philadelphia with Daryl Morey. That would be funny. But I don't think in general they probably have enough. I mean, if they'd want to offer him a max contract, I think they need to open up a little bit more salary. They'll definitely have to renounce their right to Tobias Harris, which wouldn't be a big problem. But yeah. Adam Silver announcing the 17th pick. Bronny. Yeah. No, it won't happen, but I mean, in reality, I don't think Adam Silver will even be announcing Bronny's draft pick. It'll be, I can't remember the name of the co-commissioner. I think it'll be him in round 2. Ingram to Philly. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked about that. I kind of like that fit too. They've been talking a little bit about DeMar DeRozan in Philly, maybe Brandon Ingram in Philly. I could see that happening. It would take a lot of picks to get Brandon Ingram, but then again, the way people are talking about him and after that playoff performance, it might not be as much as you might think. I don't think that the Pelicans would get the same return for Brandon Ingram that Brooklyn got for Mikal Bridges. I'd be willing to bet on that. I think you could probably get Ingram for about 3-ish unprotected first round picks compared to Bridges going for 4, if you can believe that. But I mean, Ingram time after time has proven to not be a number one guy, and then not a bad defender, but not a great defender either. If we're talking about the Lakers, no, I don't think they should trade for him. But yeah, I'd like it for Philadelphia though. Are we not updated here for Philadelphia yet? They're dragging out the draft. Would turn off the TV if Bronny was 17th overall. Yeah. Philadelphia is taking Jared McCain at 16th overall. I'll update here in a second. Here we go. Interesting pick. Backcourt player for them-ish. I wonder if DeAnthony Melton might be available with them picking him. Low-key wanted McCain for the Lakers. That wouldn't have been a bad pick at all. I think people would have been angry about it though, given the not forward or big, not really quite a forward anyway. Yeah, I think there would have been a lot of outrage at that. If I remember correctly, he sophomore, freshman coming out of college, so probably not quite NBA ready to fill like a big role anyway. He might be a 9th, 10th guy off the bench, and in that regard, I think he could provide value from day one, but I like that fit better for Philadelphia than I probably do for the Lakers, even from a fan perspective, given now Jalen Hood-Schifino being in their backcourt, Maxwell Lewis kind of being a backcourt player, more of a wing, but Vincent being under contract, D'Lo having the possibility of opting in, and whether they trade him or not, that could be a crowded backcourt. Thought Philadelphia might trade down for cap space. I mean, yeah, that would open up a little bit more if they're trying to get every little bit to sign a max level guy. That would have saved them a couple million. Trading the draft pick would have done even more. One more pick to go, though. Yep, you're right. One more pick. We have to get Dalton since he slipped. I wouldn't doubt it. I'm curious. Top predictions for me would probably be Deron Holmes, maybe Dalton Knecht, and then I'm trying to think of guys that they actually worked out again. They only worked out 2 top 15 picks, which were Ron Holland and Devin Carter, and then they did not work out Khalil Ware, if I remember correctly. They did work out Misi, so I wouldn't be shocked to see them take him. But that Dalton Knecht, he could be a good pick. Shocked that he fell this far. Are we going to get a repeat of last year with them not taking the guy that fell to them, being Cam Whitmore, and going with the guy that they've been wanting over the guy that they did not expect to be there? It'd be an interesting conversation. Did Khalil Ware get picked? He did. He went to Miami at 15th overall. Right here. Jared McCain, yep. Duke guard. People comparing him to Emmanuel Quickly. Yeah, I can see that a little bit. Pretty good point of attack defender. Really quick. Kind of a combo guard more compared to a true point guard. But yeah, the quickness, shot creation, 3-point shooting, definitely there. Well, let's see it. 9 p.m. Central Time was my prediction for the Lakers at 17th when they make their pick. We're only about 8 minutes off. Might be a little bit of delay on the stream, but that's where we're at. 10 p.m. Eastern for halfway through the first round. Yeesh. Hot take prediction would be a notification popping up saying that they've traded back in the draft and now we have to wait longer. I wouldn't hate it though. I probably wouldn't like if they traded down to 29th with a Utah pick, but if they traded to a 23rd from Milwaukee or a 24th from New York, I think that would be an interesting value depending on everything they get. Oh boy, timeline about to go wild here with 17th overall though. If they take Bronny, I'm automatically leaving though. No question about it. Stream ending. Won't hear from me for about a week. Kidding. Can't have a... Oh, okay. Can't have his brother at Duke, that's right. Hope it's Drawn Holmes. Yeah, I kind of do too. Is Knecht's defense enough? Coach Redick said he wants two-way players. I mean, if you're talking about a legitimate two-way player, I don't think he'd be enough to qualify for that. But, you know, then again, you're talking about a guy who carried a pretty big load on offense in college at Tennessee. He was their number one option, if not number 1B or 1A every night. So, and he wasn't a terrible defender. He could probably get better with more effort and more commitment and being able to actually focus on it more in the NBA, but I don't think he'll ever be a really good defender. So if you're talking about only taking a two-way player here, then I don't think he'd probably qualify. The pick is in. Who are we getting? They're not trading back then. Oh boy. Oh, the Lakers are selecting Dalton Knecht at number 17 overall. Wow, they did it. They went the Cam Whitmore route. They did not let him pass up. Interesting. Got a great shot creator for Coach Redick now. Really good three-point shooter. Again, not a great defender, but Redick will be able to do a lot with him. He is NBA ready. That I do like. He'll be able to provide value from day one. No, he won't be in their starting lineup. I don't think that'll happen, but he'll come off the bench, probably play about 15-ish minutes per game right away if I had to guess. He'll get plenty of opportunity. If anything, I think it might signal them not wanting to bring back a guy like Cam Reddish. Hopefully it doesn't mean they don't want to bring back Christie. I'd be mad about that, but I think that's not really a conversation anyway. But again, I think they went with their gut here about not taking Cam Whitmore last year, not wanting it to happen again. So they went with best player overall. And for a contending team, you really can't argue with them doing that. Whether or not you want to call them a contender or not, they are trying to be one. And for that, you want NBA ready talent. And Dalton Knecht fills that for them. Now the question is, though, what do they do with their need for a backup big? Do they bring back Hayes, or will he opt in and will they keep him? Will they keep Christian Wood? Will they run it back with that trio of those two and Anthony Davis? Or do they trade for a draft pick in the second round like they did with Christie? They buy one with cash, or maybe combine cash with their 55th overall pick and trade up into that 30th to 40th overall range, and maybe a guy like Deron Holmes or Filipowski, or maybe a little bit later in that second round, Adam Bona, maybe he'll be there. That would be a good big man pick for them too that I have not talked about. But what do we think about the pick? How do you know he'll be NBA ready? I don't, but for a 4-year college guy, you're going to have a more NBA ready bet compared to a freshman one and done college guy. A draft grade. I think I'll save my draft grade for the video tomorrow. Not liking the pick, laughing at it. Thank God it wasn't Bronny. Yeah, I agree with that. I will be able to sleep tonight knowing they didn't take Bronny at number 1 overall. Again, don't hate that in 2nd overall, but NBA ready because 23 compared to the 19-year-olds. Again, it really doesn't matter about age. To me, it's all about more experience. He played 4 years at college at the D1 level. Pretty sure he played all 4 at Tennessee. I might be wrong about that, but played at a high level at D1, and they went on a pretty deep run this year in March Madness. I think they made the Elite 8. I might be wrong about that, but Knecht averaged about 18-ish more points per game. I don't have it right in front of me. We could honestly pull it up. 23, 6'6", if I remember correctly, 6'8" wingspan. About 200. Oh, I'm completely wrong. He came from Northern Colorado, transferred for his senior year, shot about 40% from 3 on over 6 attempts per game, over 21 points per game, 5 rebounds per game. Not too bad for a shooting guard, small forward mix there. Again, not a great defender. You can't judge it off steals or blocks per game or even the advanced numbers here, but had plus 2.8 defensive box plus minus rating. Pretty good, but again, you can't fully factor that in for a guy who did not, that was not his role on their team. He was not a primary defender, primary scoring option. He led their team in scoring. I'm pretty positive about that. Shot well from both the field and from 3. Shot 77.2% from the free throw line. True shooting percentage came out to about 58%. Pretty darn good for the college level. Great box plus minus rating. I mean, played for a damn good team. You're going to have a pretty good rating there. But yeah, I like the pick. Ooh, wrong thing. And if I've seen correctly, Tristan da Silva went 18th overall here. That will be a topic of debate now. If they should have taken da Silva at 18th overall over Knecht, given that they're both Knecht definitely NBA ready in terms of how old he is, but a lot of people think da Silva was a great NBA ready wing, even though he's younger than Knecht, but they have not a very similar skill set, but they both have that 3-point shooting, defensive archetype, good wing defender. Yeah, talking about da Silva there anyway. You'd get a lot more defense with da Silva, more of a true 3-and-D guy compared to Knecht, who is more of that shot creator, offensive versatility guy who could honestly realistically average about 10 points per game during his rookie year, if depending on the role they give him. But that's what they ended up going with. It'll be a big topic of debate for the next week, if not longer. But we'll see how it pans out for them. I'm a little bit shocked that Knecht fell that far. Man, what are we talking about here? How do we feel? Knecht, not how you feel about it, but okay. Yeah. Appreciate you tuning in. Who is that? Technically a 5-year college player out of Tennessee. We went through it before. Yep, Orlando did take da Silva. A lot of people are going to talk about that. Good pick. Out of 10, what would you rank the pick in my opinion? Ooh, that's tough. I mean, purely for taking the best player overall and not passing up on him like they did last year with Whitmore and, Knecht being very NBA ready. I think at the bare minimum, you got to give it about a 7. I would maybe climb as high up to number 8, given that he probably can be a movement shooter and they need that. I talked about that, but the fact is he'll be a rookie too. You can never know for sure what you might get with a rookie. And you can bet a little bit more on a 5-year college guy like Knecht, but you never know for sure. But yeah, probably about a 7 or 8 rating for me. I don't absolutely love it, but I definitely don't hate it, and I completely get why they did it. I think Dalton was the right pick because most boards had him going top 10. yeah, you can't really argue about that. He had the talent for sure of a lottery pick at the very least. And a lot of times, the 4 or 5 year college guys, they don't go early, they end up falling. And you can end up with a guy like Dalton Knecht going to a team trying to be a contender. I think the Lakers will be a contender. Whether you think they will be or not, that's up to you. But team trying to be a good team, I know for sure a different contender would be very happy to have him. Whether I know Denver would have loved to have Dalton Knecht. Yeah. Speaking of KCP, didn't see that one coming. No, I did not, and I would not be shocked if KCP left Denver. Can Knecht choose number 4 jersey so we can call him I like that. That'd be cool. D'Lo gone. I don't think them taking Knecht has anything to do with D'Lo being there or not. I think if anything, it means more about their willingness to retain Cam Reddish, maybe even Taurean Prince, which I really hope they'll keep him. But Knecht he'll kind of slot right into that shooting guard spot. And I mean, Christie and Reddish they went back and forth for minutes until, inevitably Darvin Ham took Reddish or Christie out of the rotation and Reddish couldn't stay healthy. But if anything, again, I think Knecht, that will be more about Reddish, Christie, and Prince than D'Lo. Hood-Schifino and Gabe are gone most likely. Potentially, yeah, I don't think them drafting Knecht has anything to do with that, though, in my opinion. I think we'll go live until pick number 20. Then I'll go make a video on Dalton Knecht here for you guys. But we'll watch a couple more picks here. Dalton Knecht can also play defense. Yeah, he's not a bad defender again, but not a great defender if we're talking about two-way players. I wouldn't call him a two-way player probably at the NBA level. He'll have to prove that. Like some guys, like a De Silva, he'll be a two-way player in terms of pure 3-and-D ability. Dalton Knecht, will he be able to keep up with the speed of the NBA on defense? I'm not entirely sure yet. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't think he'll be a terrible defender, but I'm not ready to call him a legit 3-and-D two-way player quite yet. Who is better, Austin Reeves or Dalton Knecht? Probably the guy that's proven it in the NBA. But if you're talking about a ceiling, I think Dalton Knecht could get to where even beyond where Reeves is at right now. For an NBA comparison for Knecht, I see a little bit of Duncan Robinson to where the movement shooting, not quite at that level, but the shot creation a little bit. There's a little bit of Tyler Hero in there for him. I don't know if I agree with that much, but kind of his own player, really good shot creator, can be a movement shooter. And again, I think Redick will like that. Dalton is way better than AR. He'll have to prove it. Got to unload some guards. I agree, depending on who opts in and who doesn't opt in. D'Lo opting in, Reddish opting in, and then I hope it's a given that they bring back Christie. That would definitely be a loaded backcourt, a little bit too much. Yeah, at that point, you got to unload a few guys. Do we got an update yet? Don't think we do. Woj, you were getting killed here on the draft by Shams. I think he's actually doing the draft show, though. Who do I think is in out for the Lakers? That's a lot to talk about. But if we're talking about after drafting Dalton Knecht, again, I think it would be a guy like Cam Reddish or Christie. Maybe Taurean Prince, I hope not. But if you get offered a big contract at that point, they can't do anything about that anyway. All they can offer him is up to about 4.9 million off of his non-bird rights. So I hope they don't view Taurean Prince as, not a big need for their team anymore, because I think team continuity is very important. They finally got a guy that came in and immediately shot well from 3, and you don't get that very often. Not quite 3-and-D, but he tries hard on defense. I'd be pretty angry if they would let Torian Prince go after drafting Knecht. Toronto drafted Jacoby Walter. Yes, they did. Interesting. A lot of people, not a lot of people, but few people are talking about maybe Lakers taking him at 17th overall. I was never the biggest fan of that. I think he has a little bit more to prove before contributing to a day one rotation. But I think Knecht and Da Silva would have been good picks for them. Again, very surprised that Knecht fell all the way down to 17th overall. But I'm okay with it. We'll do one more pick, then I will end the stream, and we'll talk about Knecht in a long-term video format. Still going back and forth on that. I love the movement shooting, but we'll find out how he fits into their day one rotation. Reddish should be gone, but he may stay. Yeah, I mean, I think he played Cam Reddish from November to early January. That guy I'd want on my team, but the Cam Reddish that played after that, which mainly came down to him getting injured again, that Cam Reddish I would not want on my team because there's too much injury risk. Do I think it's possible we can land Cam Johnson in a trade with the Nets? Possible, yes. Difficult, yes, because of that, think about $24 million contract. If they'd wait until after July 1st, they have no leeway in taking back money for him in a trade. So you'd have to really work hard to match that salary. You'd have to either get D'Lo back after opting in to put him in that trade, or combine a Rui Hachimura and Gabe Vincent, and then probably at least one first-round draft pick, probably two after the haul they got for Mikal Bridges. So possible, yes. Difficult, even more, yes. Heard rumors that Shooter might be a free agent. Yeah, I could see him maybe being a bio candidate. I think if anything, he'll probably be a trade candidate. I don't know if the Lakers ever want to circle back to him again, but yeah. Feel TP12 got misused. In a way to where Darvin Ham overutilized him, I would agree. Yeah. But I think he got put in a really good role that he's played for half a decade now. I kind of like the role that he filled for them. Should buy another pick like they did last year. I don't know if they did last year. They did 2 years ago with Christie, though, for sure. I agree. I think they should buy another draft pick if they could get a Ryan Dunn, or if Tyler Smith might fall to the early second round. Cam Christie, I'd love that. Any one of them, though. But like realistically, if a Ryan Dunn or a Tyler Smith or Deron Holmes would somehow fall that far, I agree. You got to buy a pick at that point. Definitely a fan of that. Jacoby Walter for Toronto, though. Interesting. They kind of got a little bit of a loaded backcourt now, too. Quickly, RJ Barrett, if you consider him a backcourt player. Got Walter. Interesting. Kind of a part-time fan of Toronto. I'm not sure how I feel about that for them. I kind of thought they might go big. If anything, I think they probably should trade Jakob Poeltl. And then who knows what's going to happen with the guy they drafted last year, I think, their rookie out of Louisville, if I remember correctly. Having heart issues or something, they could use another big. What rookie do I want on the team beside Christie and Bronny? Well, they got Dalton Knecht. I wanted Devin Carter, Ron Holland, but that didn't happen. What rookie? Another big, ideally. I would probably have to go Tyler Smith, Deron Holmes. I mean, Yves Missi is there yet. I don't think he'll be there to where the Lakers could trade for a pick, but yeah, a guy like that. One more pick here, then we'll end. Still kind of thinking about that Dalton Knecht pick. What do you guys think? Put your rating for it down below. I'm curious how wide the range will be. I think it would probably be about 7, 8 if I had to rate it at a 10. But I know some people might put it at a 4, given that it's not a big. And some people might put it at a 10, given that they went the best player available route. We got Cleveland on the clock. Apparently they might take Jalen Tyson. They are taking him. Okay. Jalen Tyson for 20th overall. Oh, wow. We got 21st overall, too. Misi got taken at 21st overall by New Orleans. I mean, that's a guarantee that they won't be bringing back Valanciunas, pretty much. I mean, we talked about him the other day. I'm not a big fan of picking him up for a mid-level exception, but Misi going 21 overall. Interesting. I thought he might go 15th overall to Miami, maybe to the Lakers after that. But yeah, wow, that's interesting how that played out for them. If you're talking about bigs left on the big board, I would have Deron Holmes at number 1 here. Probably Tyler Smith at number 2, even though he's kind of a power forward rather than a true center, which Deron Holmes kind of is too. I would put Filipowski after them, but you got 3 legitimate first round candidate big men left if you'd want to get in there. Got some ratings for Knecht: 7, 6, 5, 8, 6, 7.5. Yeah, I think that's all about right. You don't want to get either too high or too low on him. Probably right in that range. Maybe not the highest ceiling, not a two-way player, which if you take the fit pick would have been a guy like Da Silva, but you did get a great offensive creator on your team, a guy that theoretically will work well with JJ Redick. So I'm not mad about it. But I think that will do it for the draft stream. If I can, I'll get on later tomorrow. If the Lakers trade up, I probably won't be able to do that. Maybe we can get in about 40th overall, then go about to the end of the draft, see where Bronny James ends up going. Maybe he'll be with the Lakers, maybe he'll be with a different team, but I'm more interested about a few other guys. But regardless, I really enjoyed the first stream. Appreciate all of you guys who showed up. Drop in the comments. Appreciate it for hanging out. We'll do more of them in the future. Definitely free agency. Maybe tomorrow, we'll find out. But again, really appreciate everyone who showed up, who supports the channel. I genuinely appreciate you guys and had a really fun time doing it. But we'll talk about Dalton Knecht in a video. Hopefully I'll get out by tonight. But again, appreciate you guys showing up. Appreciate the love. Again,